Welcome back to the channel. It has been quite a while since I've been able to sit down and put a video together for you all. I've been very busy with work and a little bit of play. Actually, quite a bit of play. This is where we left off in the last video, episode 8, and we were trying to get the last bit of fiberglass work done in the engine room so we can move on to paint. And these gutters were the gutters on the forward bulkhead, the last things we needed to tackle. And those gutters will be molded into the bulkhead, they'll be bonded and then painted in where the engine box will land, and it should shed water down the gutter, the original gutters, these the engine room box sides that right there. Those are also removable, and we end up completely rebuilding those, removing all the wood and replacing it with Kusa. There you can see there's actually a gutter molded into that trough, that landing there. That should shed water down the gutter there. That's the idea. There's one of the engine boxes, that's a starboard engine box. Checking for fit. You can see how that fits. Pretty good and tight. That's how we roll. There's the port engine box. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, now's a good time to. I'm going to say subscribe like 16 times because every time I say subscribe, the subscribe button should twinkle or light up. And I've just noticed that recently. Every time I subscribe to someone else's channel, it's pretty cool. If you all subscribed and it lit up, make a comment below. And feel free to like the channel as well. I think when you say like, the little like button or the thumbs up lights up as well. And if you haven't, you can click on the notification bell. I think that sparkles when you say something about notifications. Anyway, just playing with the YouTube tools there. Kind of fun. So back to what we're doing here. These are the gutters. They were glued together with vinyl ester resin. Basically, I just primed them while they're screwed together. And then here I pulled the fillet with it's vinyl ester resin mixed with West System 404 and a little Cabicil to make a paste. Makes a nice smooth little fillet in there, or radius, however you like to call it. And then there is a 1208 and a 3/4 ounce mat on those uprights. And there's the gutters hot glued down to the table so that I could lay that 1208 and 3/4 ounce on the top side, and then I will have to trim and flip them over, hot glue them down, and glass the bottom side. Here's the top after it's glassed. And if you notice there, the cardboard to the right is what I wet the 1208 out on before I lay it on the Kusa. It is way easier than trying to wet the glass in place. I call this tedious to get glass to go in that trough, and you know, it's challenging, it's tedious. That's what it is. It's a pain in the ass, if we're going to be quite honest. And these are the gutters trimmed up, sanded with 36 grit, and tacked onto the bulkhead with a couple screws. And once again, proper form, we will test fit those engine boxes one more time with the glass on here. Then these will get bonded to the bulkhead. And I believe I use G-Flex. There you can see that mitered corner where the bulkhead gutter meets the removable engine box side. Here we are finishing the bilge area and the cockpit. All that glass work is complete. And that is, I think, the first coat of Sherwin-Williams tile clad. It was reduced with a little bit of lacquer thinner There's the rudder shelf back there. Again, this is the first coat, and coming up here shortly, I believe you will see the second coat. That is the second coat. Covers pretty good on the first coat. You'll see some see-through spots, but the second coat is definitely a full hide. It's an epoxy. It unfortunately does not have any UV properties, UV inhibitors, UV stabilization. It will yellow in direct sunlight. But that is below the deck and shouldn't see too much sunlight. Sherwin-Williams tile clad. They just put the marine in front of it. It is now a marine product, although we've been using it in the marine industry in our local area for 20 plus years. They also raised the price. Here's the bilge behind that fuel tank. Yeah, let's quick glance back at the starboard side. Now, the gutters were bonded. Apparently I don't have any footage or videos of that, but they're bonded on there with G-Flex, and then that was a quick gel coat was brushed on there, and the next day I'm sanding these out with mostly 36 grit, maybe some 80. And this is the first coat of Diamond Tough. I think we only did one coat of this. It's a very hard urethane enamel. It's supposed to be very water resistant. It doesn't blister. And so we're using this as a sealer primer. After we sand this out, it will get a top coat of All Grip Snow White. I didn't get a lot of direction from the supplier, and I had tried a couple spots using a foam roller. Do not use a foam roller with Diamond Tough. It just aerates it. But after I used a mohair roller, it came out pretty dang good. Here we're hitting those engine beds one more time with high build after they've been sanded down a couple of times. And now this is the first attempt to do full engine room paint. Top to bottom, side to side, everything. We ended up getting rain, and our masking over our head leaked, and water ran down the front bulkheads and across the platforms. And so we had to abort. What we decided to do is paint these gutters separately, so they're painted completely, and then we'll remove that masking. And then we also decided to paint the engine room in 2 stages. There's the those gutters and frames painted into the bulkhead. And then here's the starboard side ready for final coat, final paint. And breaking it up definitely made it more manageable. And this is the port side. We did not reduce this paint hardly at all. I believe it was like 5% maybe. And an orange peel was acceptable. We were trying to get gloss, full coverage, and not too concerned about any orange peel. It is an engine room, and it came out pretty nice. These here are cleat blocks. What they do is allow us to through bolt the cockpit cleats through this bracket, a fiberglass kind of offset bracket from the hull, and without having bolts go through the hull sides. There's a panel that covers all that rough fiberglass up. This is the auxiliary fuel tank. Before the fittings were installed, we were checking for fit and locating our fittings. Andrew Marsh at Sunset Marine Design built this for us and also helped us determine where the fill vent and pickup would go. He did a great job. That pickup actually goes all the way through that tank and draws from the back. He did a beautiful job for us there. These are the heat extraction ports. The starboard side of the hull just got a sealer paint, and I was just showing those off. This is the bridge, getting ready to get stripped. If you watch my shorts, you've already seen this part. And a fella named Live Bait Adventures 420 made some great suggestions, some of which we will be doing. You'll have to follow along, keep watching the episodes, and see what we come up with. Should be good. This is the fuel tank getting refinished. It was only 3 years old, but there was some coal tar epoxy flaking. And so we took it down to bare aluminum, specifically where the flaking was occurring. Sanded out anything that looked like pitting. It gets 2 fresh coats of coal tar epoxy there. And these are what we call scupper tunnels. Those little PVC blocks were supposed to keep water from, well, they were supposed to direct water out of the cockpit, out those scuppers. The problem with those is that any water that would have come in the scuppers and was enough water to go over top of them would have just flooded the bilge. So we came up with a scupper tunnel design like this. This will go all the way to the cockpit panel. It's a liner. You'll see it here in a minute, fitted. They're all removable, so there will be a sealant around here, a small bead around there. And now we're looking at the bottom of the bow. If you look closely there on the port side, there was some damage, some repair that wasn't quite put back to how it was originally. We started to build those strikes back and kind of made them a little bit blocky, and then I looked at it and said, man, this looks a lot like a hull I'm very familiar with. What if we just round those over and leave those strikes full width? Captain allowed us to do it, and that's what you get. Full length lifting strikes all the way to the bow. There's a hull out there that resembles that design. Great performing hull. Not a pretty boat, but excellent performing boat. And these are PVC conduit that are for routing all the electrical wires. We conceal the electrical wires behind that rear bulkhead. So these are on the back side, the aft side of the rear bulkhead. And wires will stay mostly concealed. Once they go down the side there, they pop through that hole, run from port to starboard behind the bulkhead. And that's not quite tidied up yet. It looks amazing now that it's done. I'll get some more videos of that. And here is the brand new generator. It is a Phaser 4.0. We removed the generator from the starboard side. This one will be mounted here on the port side with a water lift muffler to the back, aft side of there, and hydraulic steering systems in the front. If you look up above this generator, there's the heat extraction system, that exhaust fan and the box that directs hot air overboard. It is one of my favorite things we've done to this boat. Here is just some tile clad underneath the gunnels, finishing that all out. All the glasswork is done in the cockpit. There are some liner panels with access. Those will be backlit, and all that bright white paint will just reflect the light inside there. Should be nice and bright at night. And I think that's going to be a wrap for this one. Get you pretty close to where we are currently at. In the next video, you'll likely see the engines going in. We've just installed the shafts. This is a panel for the bridge. Stick around. There is a lot more to come. Can't wait to put those engines in. Coming up next. Thank y'all. And if you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, maybe share with a friend, and I'll keep doing it. Thank you.